so far in implementing the PFR, the challenges encountered, and recommendations. Currently, expenditure is not based on budget, the minister concluded, but it is good to move to budget-based spending. Also, he said that Sudan continue lifting crude oil daily, increasing from 28 to 30,000 barrels, even though it should have ended in March 2022. Transitional financial arrangement ended in March 2022. The chair of the meeting said that the Minister of Petroleum would explain this today to this forum, why the government of Sudan continued to lift the oil of South Sudan. We heard presentation by Honorable Josephine Napon on the impacts of climate change. The minister highlighted global scenarios of climate change. She stated that although Africa contributes less than 4% to the greenhouse gases, it was nonetheless at high risk of negative effects of climate change. South Sudan is vulnerable to the impact of climate change, including floods, drought, deforestation, and most of the affected states are Jonglei State, Unity, Warab, Northern Bahr el Ghazal, Upper Nile, Central Equatoria, and Western Equatoria. I think it is only 3 that are less affected out of 10. The minister explained the strategies that are required to mitigate the impacts of climate change, including declaring a state of emergencies that I think was done, relocating people to high grounds, and building of dikes. The Ministry of Environment and Petroleum conducted environmental audit of oil areas, and the government allocated $2 million for emergencies caused by floods. There was talk about resource constraints in most of the presentation, and then there were questions and answers and comments. Some of the key questions and comments raised by members of the forum include: if there is a contingency fund for emergency, why does the Ministry of Finance retain 83% of the budget and transfer only 17% to the states? Why creating more positions when there is little or no budget? The national MPs are getting the medical allowances and salary increase. How about the state MPs? What are we doing about the young girls on the street of Juba? How can election be conducted in 27 months when there is no census, clear demarcation of constituencies, and repatriations of the refugees and IDPs is not done? Should tribal chieftainship courts be in Juba disbanded? How will Ministry of Gender give or create awareness to rural communities about child marriages? The issue of illiteracy or illiterate MPs and transmission of documents, business of conduct for the MPs in the case of those who do not know how to read and write. Use of vote of no confidence was raised yesterday, and it was highly debated. Dismissal of civil servants and constitutional post holders was another question. Issue of floods and a slow government response to the floods. The co-chair is Excellency Dr. Riek Machar Teny, Vice President, First Vice President of Governance Cluster. He directed the Minister of Finance to bring to the forum today, Friday 25th, number of 2022, November 22, all the relevant policies, documents, regulations, and laws pertaining to the management of public finance to help him in answering the questions raised yesterday. Your Excellency, here the Secretariat in the recap. Thank you.
I want us first to listen to some governors, at least one, so that they don't feel lectured when we are discussing national issues. The state issues also must be sandwiched in. So Nadil Fursa, or before that, help us who feel there is an issue raised in the discussion yesterday that was not included in the recap. Yes. Yeah, as recap, you listen.
Thank you, Your Excellency, the Vice President, the governors. Actually, there was something raised yesterday, and we did not have a chance to respond to it. And I do not want the governors or the ministers to go back to their state with that misleading answer. Minister of Peace Building of Jonglei State raised a question yesterday about the relationship between the Peace Commission and the Ministry of Peace Building. And the question, the way it was answered, I want to make a bit of clarification. My name is William Kolong from Peace Commission. We distributed the phones to the peace committees at the state level, at the hot spots. And those phones are property of the Peace Commission. Peace Commission, yesterday it was said, what are they doing at the state? We are in the state. The Constitution of South Sudan stated very well that the Peace Commission is present in the state, and we are here. This is one. So those phones, I know I'm receiving a lot of phones yesterday that where are our phones? But the phones are property of Peace Commission. We gave them to the peace committees at the hotspot areas through the governors. So the phones belong to the peace committees at the place. Please don't take them out from them. Now, Minister said yesterday that Peace Commission was established during the 32 state. That is not correct. Peace Commission was established in 2006, and it has been there. It is in our constitution. That is there. So that I don't want that misunderstanding to go back, Your Excellency. I need to clear that very well. Our staff are there in the state, and they are there to work with the government. I will agree with him that he said we are advisors to the governors. I mean to the ministers, yes. Even me, I am advisor to my governor on peace building issues those days. Up to now, reconstitution and restructuring is not yet done. So our staff are there, and I don't want people to go and actually accuse them or something or mistreat them. They have right to stay there until that time come to be called back to the national government. They are staff. And they were hired under Public Service Act. So they remain there until then. The last final things I wanted to say, Chairperson of South Sudan Peace and Reconciliation Commission and myself and the Minister of Peace Building who asked that question yesterday, we were at the retreat. Vice President was there. And this issue of Ministry of Peace Building and the Peace Commission was raised, and it was clarified properly. Peace Commission have no connection with Ministry of Peace Building. In the national, they report to the presidency. At the state, we work with the governors. We report to the governors. This is how we work. But we work together for that matter. So we are there, and it needs to be understood properly so that misunderstanding is not carried, and they stop. We have our properties there, and people are already taking the properties of Peace Commission. These are not yours. They belong to Peace Commission. It's an institution here. And also in the Rabat-Light peace agreement, it said clearly that they will be given independency. They are independent commission. We don't belong to any ministry. That have to be clear. Finally, our chairperson is very sick. He's not here to defend himself or to defend his constitution, his institution. He's in Nairobi, he's very sick. So those are the things I want to clarify so that you don't go back to state and start harassing the staff of the Peace Commission. Thank you very much.
Yes. Behind the gentleman who spoke, I'll come to you, Call.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, the first Vice President, the Vice President, Honorable Ministers and Governors, protocol remain observed. Mine goes to the Minister of. Okay, my name is Albino Akol, Secretary General, Northern Bargzal State. My question goes to the Minister of Justice. Last year, at the 5th Governors Forum, we were being given copies of Constitution, and shortly they were withdrawn. That they were to give us the correct copy. But yesterday he presented, and we did not see something to do with our national constitution, because this is the right forum whereby we can at least get a copy and we educate others based on our constitution. Second question, there is something that people have not talked about since the discussion began. People do talk of cattle riding, but also there is an issue of the land in the city. In the city where people reside, like this, for example, Juba is the national city.
I said recap. Those of recap. You are starting a new subject.
Oh. Then, okay, thank you. Okay, bye.
You didn't hear me, I think. I thought you will come to a recap. Yes, Call.
Your Excellency, First Vice President, yesterday afternoon, I was asked 2 questions by Honorable William Deng, the Minister of Local Government of Warab State. 2 questions. So I'm appealing that I'm allowed to answer him.
Yeah. Make it short, huh?
Okay.
I know that you were asked a question on the conflict. What was the cause?
First of all, I want to thank the Minister of Warab for asking the question so that I inform